All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. We are here with the Area 51 Superspeedway Next Gen Series at Talladega Superspeedway. Schedule is 75 laps here tonight, one faster pair, 3 attempts at a green white checkered if need be. So we'll see if that comes into fruition or not. Drivers putting up their qualifying laps as we speak. Looks like just under 20 drivers here tonight. I was talking to some of the drivers as well. I think some drivers working on maybe almost kind of maybe turn this more into maybe a learning curve for some of the other guys, because again, these next gens are a whole different animal compared to the normal Xfinity trucks. These ones you can definitely lose the draft, as we've seen in some of the previous races. So, I mean, we're going to see a little bit of education going on almost in this race, as well as you see that 29 going through to start his qualifying lap right off the bat. So we'll see. It's going to be a little bit of a different. We might see a little bit different racing here tonight, but I say, as you know, even with the numbers, I say Talladega, it's its own little animal, so it's always a fun race. And I think also there's, for some reason, selfishly, I think some people are trying to put us up against football, which is not very fair to football, but I think we do lose a couple drivers and so on and so forth from that side of things as well. So we'll do what we can, though. We'll have some fun here tonight. Hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday evening. Get ready to kick off the work week once again. And of course, for those who were able to participate in the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona, congrats to those that were able to just make it to the end and participate, and then B, especially those able to win their splits. So I know there were a few drivers in the field tonight able to be a part of that and get some big wins in their Daytona 24 class. We'll be able to chat with those guys maybe here at some point in the race. But yeah, so hope you're all having a wonderful evening tonight. And then joining me shortly will be Matt Wagner. So he's working on getting his headset and microphone, everything dialed in so he can be a part of tonight as well. So this is race number 3 of 12. Next week we will be at iRacing Superspeedway. Apologies, not Talladega, iRacing Superspeedway. And I don't believe I've run those with this next-gen car, so that will be a very interesting to see how those cars react to that track there, with the probably 240 plus mile an hour speeds that we see over at that location. However, I believe qualifying has just about completed here. We've got about another minute left to go to Piers, though. Right now, it looks like you have 12 of the drivers putting a qualifying lap down. And then we'll say we're going to see some of our usual heavy hitters here, I think, starting towards the back tonight. Like I said, I think working on, again, trying to kind of help and assist and just try to get some drivers more comfortable with this next-gen series. Again, these guys have been used to the Xfinity car for the last number of, I'd say probably 2 years or so, most likely. So, I mean, think about that's probably about 8 to 9 seasons. So we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, Brandon Briggs poking in on the chat. So good evening, Brandon. Good luck tonight, man. Let's say if you want to find some drivers to hook up with, that's going to be probably the 88, the 25. I would say probably the 071 for good measure as well. But yeah, I say looking forward to see what you have. I say obviously I was able to join you last week, but a great result for you over at Atlanta. It was fun racing with you and being up front with you, man. So good luck here tonight as well. However, with that, I believe now the field has made their way to the front stretch. So let's pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. And it is going to be James Mohan on the pole position there over Jimmy Crawford, Brad Slagle, apologies, third. Robert Jordan, Tom Dixon are top 5. Then you got Ryan Decker, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Andy Brigante, Jim Brooks rounding out our top 10. Continuing down, you got Nick Manfredi, Larry Fairman in 11th and 12th. We'll get down to the next batch of drivers here, if it decides to update for us here. Well, looks like we're having the interesting technical difficulties here. We'll see if we can get to the next page, but it does not want to show the next page. So we're going to go with a different approach for pulling up our qualifying results. And here we go. So we mentioned the second page, though. You've got, and then you got Kevin Freese, Roger Buff Sr., Gabe Butler, Timmy Reed, Brandon Briggs, and Edwin Outlaw will be the 18 drivers taking part in this evening's event. I say we'll see if everybody's able to grid or not. Looks like right now we have 17 of the 18. Right now just waiting on, I believe, the number 256 of Timmy Reid, but it looks like the time has expired. So at this point, it's going to be, this will be the field starting off tonight with James Mohan and Jimmy Crawford going to lead out the front row as the pace car drives through us here. As here comes the field rolling out onto get their warm-up lap completed here, and then we will be underway. So you can see on the inside line, you got a couple of Team Extreme teammates lined up on the inside line, the 7 and the 052 there. James Mohan and Tom Dixon there starting first and third. Outside, though, that number 84 of Jimmy Crawford, I believe, new name, new addition to the series. So excited to see what Jimmy's going to have in store for these drivers. Brad Slagle as well in that 052 on the outside of the front row, I believe. Actually, I might be mistaken. I'm sorry. No, actually, it's Brad Slagle on the inside there. Actually, he's the other Team Extreme driver behind James Mohan, so apologies there. I was mixing him up with Robert Jordan on the outside. There's the 74 Camus Ford Mustang. And then behind them in the 61, you got Brian Decker with the Sensi Toyota Camry. But yeah, so up front, though, it's going to be these two right here, the 84 and the 7, to bring the field to the green. And again, these next-gen cars are sequential transmissions, so no H pattern shifting, and they also not 4-speed, but 5-speed on these ones. So drivers have to remember they got a 5th gear that they can use if they need it. So we'll see if that comes into play here tonight. But like I said up front, though, it is going to be James Mohan control car for tonight's event. Looks like 17 drivers on track this evening. Now, say towards the back of the field, not putting qualifying time in, will be Brandon Briggs in the the Ricky Bobby Me paint scheme there. I love that car. And then that number 12 of Edwin Outlaw. So this is, again, those are the drivers that are kind of in that danger spot. They have to make sure they don't lose the draft here early on because it's so easy to lose. So we'll see, though, as we're about to get things kicked off as they come through the tri-oval and as they get to the exit. That will kick off the green flag here tonight. Green flag is down and away. 75 laps is our scheduled distance here tonight at Talladega, as right now the Team Extreme drivers looking to try to get organized and ahead of the 84 and the 74 on the outside line. So far looking 2x2, but there's the 84, gets a great push, jumps straight in front there. And oh, look at the bobbles there. Robert Jordan, he's getting everything he can handle and then some from that 61 there. Brian Decker, he clears the inside lane. He's going to try to jump to the front. And these guys, I mean, from right off the get-go, these guys are ready to go. Brian Decker also able to clear to the inside row here. So that's going to leave now Robert Jordan going to maybe be able to lead lap number 1 here with help from Ryan. And it looks like no challenges. So yeah, you give lap number 1 right here, that 74 car of Robert Jordan with big assist there from Ryan Decker. That big push down the backstretch into turn 3. You can see just a little bit of movement. So once you break that bubble, these cars, you can really latch on and make some big pushes and big moves, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Out of that number 74 and the 61, just a little bit of movement here and there, but that's allowed them to, you can see right there, just that slight breakaway from Tom Dixon here. But again, I'm looking up top there, I'm seeing some more cars getting lined up there, and I think that is James Mohan there lining up the 052 of Brad Slagle. And actually, nope, as I said, Brad's going to jump to the inside line. Unfortunately, James could not follow, so he's going to drop a few spots back, but right now, it looks like the inside line is the place to be. A little bit of movement there as now they start to get slotted into position here. I see Jim Brooks kind of stuck in the middle there for a moment. Then Gabe gives him the opening. He drops down and had one down on the apron there for a moment. Trying to catch if that was, I think that may have been Brad actually there in the 052, but it looks like gathers it back up. But right now up front though, it's been these three drivers right now that have just kind of set the pace of this thing. That 74, 61, and the 84 up front. You see, you got that inside train from the 74 all the way back to the 51 of Jim Brooks. And then you're going to have that second pack on the outside line being led by Bud Steele. And he's picked up some very talented drivers there. Roger Buff Sr. and Kevin Freeze. Let's say Kevin, we know what Kevin can do. And then we talked about some of the, maybe some trying to get some assists going. I think that's what you see right here. Gabe Butler kind of riding back a little bit, trying to get these guys settled in here to try to pull them back into the draft. Because again, it's very easy to lose the pack. So I think probably, like I said, probably a little bit of education going on, trying to kind of help these drivers learn, adapt, and make some adjustments as they need to. As you see a big movement there on the mid pack there, but it's Bud Steele though with that 89 of Roger Buff Sr. Actually, let's go ahead and let's hop on board here. Let's go on the roll bar here and watch Roger, who's trying. You can hear right there, had to get out the road. Actually, I think there was a 3 wide attempt there. Yeah, the 61. I think maybe try to jump to the top to get the maybe try to take the momentum, and they just went right on around him there. As Bud Steele, I believe, led that lap. And a little bit of contact there, a little check up. We're still bouncing into each other a little bit. I think everybody's going to get through okay, but that was a very, very close moment there. Might have a few cars that got a little bit of scuffs out of that one. But when it all ends said and done here, it looks like it's going to be, again, the 74 back to the point once again. Robert Jordan leading laps here early at Talladega. Oh, caution is out towards the back. Looks like, Nick Manfredi is around. Not sure if he had any, I'm not sure if any contact or not, but that's the 29. Looks like grabs the gear, gets going again. And we'll try to take a look and see what exactly happened to Nick here. But looks like as a whole, gonna get away with it fairly safely. We'll pull it up here and take a closer look. So we're looking for Nick here in the 29 car. You see him on the outside of 3 wide here going into turn number 3. So I'll pick it back up here, run a little slower. And you can see, obviously the very defined lines there on the inside. And yeah, you see right there the 12 car of Ed Onala just drifts up there in turn number 3. And really, honestly, nothing that that Nick can do here except just try to hang on to it. Look at the 11 as well, Larry Fairman. Big cut to the left there, and I think Larry might get a little bit of contact there, but I think both those cars should get away with this fairly unscathed. But yeah, unfortunately though, for those two, just a little bit of involvement there, which will now bring out our first yellow of the evening at lap number 6. So that's going to slow the pace of this race right back down here as the field here is coming out of 4, already picked up the pace car, which is going to mean pit stops here to kick things off here as they head into the tri-oval. So while they make their pit stops, we will step away for a moment. Let's say, let Matt get his microphone, everything hopefully all situated, and we'll get back here momentarily on the 1 to go. So stay tuned, everyone. As you can see, the lights are off of the pace car. Looks like, I believe, 2 drivers opted to go ahead and top off there on the 1 to go. That will be Eric Calori in the 071 and Gabe Butler in the 88. So let's say we're going to regroup here on lap number 8. Coming to lap number 9 to get this restart underway. Again, 75 laps is our scheduled distance. Of course, there is the potential of 3 attempts of a green-white checkered finish, so that would extend the fuel mileage out a little bit further. I believe the fuel mileage in these cars, though, is in the low 20s, I want to say. So pretty much I want to say expect these cars in about every 20 laps or so, roughly. However, up front continues to be Robert Jordan pacing the field. Behind him now, he's going to have Bud Steele in the 10, who made a big jump on the outside line we saw there prior to that yellow. He's going to restart in third. 84 back to the outside again, Jimmy Crawford. He's going to have help from Tom Dixon there in the 411. James Mohan right there as well in that 7. And then on the inside, Brad Slagle in the 052. So, again, still all the drivers on the lead lap here. I believe everybody looks good to go on the damage front here as well, so I think all is well. Maybe fast repairs, unfortunately, we aren't aware on that one. We kind of just had to, just had to see how it goes. But up front, though, 74 has the control. He's going to wait for that restart zone you'll see in just a moment, and then he will get going here as everybody's going to, again, have to make sure they get through the gears nice and quick so they don't lose the pack as we get back underway here starting lap number 9. Right off the bat, you can see Bud Steele doing a great job locking onto the back of Robert Jordan here. But again, the outside line seems to be the place to be. As man, look at the 411 pushing the 84 clear by a mile here. Top 3, top 4 even have a chance to clear. Top 3 will clear, get to the bottom, move Jimmy Crawford to the front there. Even, there's the top 4. They all clear there. 61 as well, Ryan Decker. So that outside line did a great job on that restart. And they have set sail here to try to jump all the way back to the front there. Now Jimmy Crawford leading the way. You see a second lane on the top side. Looks like, I believe that is Andy Bergante. Yes, it is the 21 machine. Getting a big head of steam here from Kevin Freeze. Tagging along, there's the 89 of Roger Buck Sr. But look at the lock that those two have together as they make contact entering turn number 1. Big slide for Andy. If he can hang on to it, he's going to lock it down. Great save there by Andy. Just a little bit of a push gone wrong. And saying these cars, you can lock bumpers. As I say, it gets a little sketchy at times, unfortunately, through the turns. And that's what we just saw right there. It looks like Andy's going to probably try to get his spot on track back here. It's going to bring out our second yellow of the evening. But we're going to watch this one more time from Andy's point of view, because that was a really good save here. And what we're going to do is also we're going to hop on. You'll be able to see the hands that he has here as this happens and be able to get this car pointed back in the right direction. So I'll stop talking. You guys can watch and listen. It'd also help if I was pointing at the right car. So let's try that one more time. Rookie mistake. You hate to see it. Now we're on both, Andy. Honestly, almost looked easy there. It seemed like really minimal wheel input there, just enough to kind of get it to rotate and grab a gear and get right back out of there. So again, I think Andy's going to get away with that one. He's going to have, like I said, have a little bit. He's going to need tires probably, but other than that, damage-wise, I think he's going to get away with this one. As the field once again here is going to hit entering turn number 3. Again, probably I might see some mixed strategy on pit stops here if they stay out or pit. But again, though, what we'll do is we'll go back, step away here. You won't miss anything that will be on the screen. So stay tuned. We'll get back to go here once more on the 1 to go. lights are off. I don't know if you saw that under the yellow, but there was definitely a bit of some stuff going on there. It looked like Gabe Butler in the 88 got spun into his pit stall there. You saw I had to loop it around and grab a gear, get going again. So yeah, that was a bit of a moment for him. The only concern there is probably gets rid of a bonus point for incident-free races. So that's not what Matt was looking for on the, or not Matt. Boomer, you had me look at the chat. Not what Gabe was looking for there, but I think he'll be all right. I say we kind of know what Gabe's able to do, and unfortunately, no Matt at the moment is having some microphone issues, so I think he's still trying to sort that out. So currently rolling solo, but yeah, hope you're doing well, Boomer. I know you say you're trying to feel a little bit better. You've had a busy weekend yourself with everything you've been going on, so definitely miss having you, but looking forward to having you back here again soon, and hope you are doing well. And also a great job with you as well, being with your team running that 24 hours of Daytona. So well-deserved finish on that one. Tough fight, obviously, to get the results you were trying to get, but still getting to the end is an accomplishment in itself. All right, strategy-wise now, there are some strategies in play. Our leader, Larry Fairman, in the 11, he stayed out. Outside to him, the number 12, Edwin Outlaw, also stayed out. So they will be our front row pitting at lap 6. The other drivers pitting at lap 11. So we'll have to see if that comes into play or not. But right now, I'll say we still have plenty of time to go here. As you see the 11 getting ready for this restart. They're in that black rifle camo paint number 11 Chevy Camaro as we get back underway here. As we get going again here, you can see a lot of separation. This time the outside line will not prevail because there was so much separation there. It's going to be the inside line top 3 just going to run away with this thing here for the moment. But we've seen right now that 84 and the number 61, Jimmy Crawford, Ryan Decker, those are drivers I think we're going to need to keep an eye on because they have been able to lock on and make some really good speed here. So we're going to keep an eye on these guys for sure as we get to later stages of this race. And right now you can see everybody's starting to get built back up here once more. But right now it's that 11 of Larry Fairman leading the way here as they come out of turn number 4, which will bring us to start lap number 15 here in just a moment. It does seem that the inside line is a popular place to be, but I think we're just about to see that outside line start to form and make another charge to the front. I'm trying to catch which car that is leading that outside line. That was the 10 of Bud Steele. He had for a moment help, but looks like they've separated out a little bit now as you see the 25 and 89 getting down to the inside, or to the middle lane, I should say, apologies. We saw a little earlier Bud Steele made a big charge. Just gets right to the back of the 7. I think that 7, James Mohan said, yeah, I want to be the one to get that push, so come on, let's do something here. And so James is going to pick up Kevin Freeze. And again, it's definitely a risk versus reward. We saw earlier there was big ground being made by getting that push from Kevin. Then unfortunately, just a little bit of that contact in the turn really kind of upset the car. And say they can do it. It's just sometimes they got to be just almost on the same page there. If one driver maybe has a little bit more wheel input than the other, that's where those incidents happen. But I also have heard, though, that's the big difference between the Ford and the Chevys. You can see in the Chevy a little bit of that point on the nose. That makes a big difference. You see Ryan Decker there thought about jumping to the outside line, saw the momentum shift, decided to stay in the middle line, and he is going to get shuffled out in a hurry. Goes right towards the front now, goes straight to the back of the pack. But look at that 7. That lock push there by Kevin Freeze promotes him straight to the front. He is going to lead this lap here. That is what you can do with these cars. If you can get lined up here, you will make some serious time in a very short amount of time. And that is why some of these drivers absolutely love this next-gen car, because you can do a lot with it. As I say, that little bit of contact there, the 12 Edwin Outlaw looked like drifted up just a little bit, made a little bit of contact, but everybody seems to have been able to recover from it. You see everybody's trying to find the track position, find somewhere to slide into line there. As the 05284, they find themselves back together once again. Looks like they're going to jump to the outside of that number 12. And now look at this, though. We're talking about the inside line being where everybody was. They've all shifted to the top here for the moment, but there goes Kevin Freeze. He's going to jump to the inside. He's got help from Roger Buff Sr., but at the line, I believe, stayed with James Mohan. Still leads that lap. You know Kevin's going to want to get that one bonus point. Right now, Kevin a nose ahead over the 7. Ooh, little bobble there behind them, but look right there. That's what we're talking about. You see those two? They've hooked up. They literally are tandem drafting each other here. Let's hop on the roof here of that number 89 of Roger Buff Sr. And this is basically what he wants to see. So what Kevin wants to see is this latch. Oh, as you can see again, just a little bit of separation. They're trying to be as smooth as they can. Now you see the separation for a moment. He breaks separation, gets locked back on again, and in doing so, these guys really almost built themselves a couple tenths of a second gap for just a moment. But then once that separation happened, they went ahead and that's when they lose momentum and those guys come right back to them. But again, it splits up the field so quickly, and so yeah, that's what these drivers are really able to do, how fast they're able to make things happen here. But right now, though, those two up front, though, that 25 to 89. You can see Roger Buff definitely knows a thing or two about pushing in that number 89 machine. A really nice paint scheme too, with that gold on the side, a really nice shine to it as well. So some great paint schemes by these drivers here tonight. Getting a little separation here. You go back right there. Brandon Briggs, a little bit of a gap between himself and Ryan Decker to the group in front. And then right here, Edwin Outlaw, Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler. And I think this is what we talked about, some drivers trying to kind of help and make some just help educate drivers. Now the 12 and the 071 and the 88, they're going to try to lock on together here and see if they can find a way to tandem their way to the front. You can actually see Kevin Freeze, I think, jumping to the top there. I think probably in chat with the 89 probably said 89's like, hey, I've been pushing you, I'm getting hot. And Kevin said, instead of risking that motor, I'm going to jump to the top. Actually, I think Kevin's going to drop to the back here. I think we're going to see here is Kevin Freeze doesn't want to lose his teammates here, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, so he's going to drop back here. He's going to pick them up right now, and then they're going to try to see if they can push back to the front. And I think Edwin's going to have to try to tag onto these guys. But again, this is where you got to make those kind of just be able to make those adjustments, and that's exactly what we're seeing is Eric and Gabe, they've latched onto each other. Edwin's going to try to tag onto the back of them, and they're in a moment going to pick up that number 25 of Kevin Freeze, and then watch for them to make a train straight back to the front here. As right now you can see he's got about a 6/10 of a second gap between the 25 and the 7. As up front, the Roger Buff Sr. continues to lead the way on that inside line now with Larry Fairman as his pusher. Behind him is the 84 Jimmy Crawford, mentioned him already, Nick Manfredi there. And also we are starting lap 21. So we talked about those drivers that pitted last at lap number 6, the 12 and the 11. Kind of bookending the field right now. The 11 up front, the 12 is still a ways back here at the back of the field. So they will be the first drivers that have to pit if we get to that green flag pit stop window. That's the risk of not topping off at these super speedway races. If you don't have people in the same strategy as you, it could turn into a very long evening. All right, so right now it's about a 3-second gap between, but here is what we're going to do is we're going to hop onto that roof of Gabe Butler, and we're going to show you what that tandem train can do here, because I think that's the plan right now is I think Kevin, Gabe, and Eric are going to try to lock on together, and they're going to try to push themselves straight to the front, and I'm already watching the lap times, and the interval is definitely been closing. Unfortunately for Edwin Outlaw, he's lost touch with that draft. He's going to fall off the back of these guys. But right now, that last time by Eric Laurie ran a 49.97 to a 50.13 for Roger. So just about 0.2 of a second. Not a huge gain. But once these guys get fully locked on right here, you see Gabe now is going to get up to Kevin. Kevin's on to Eric. And these guys are going to start to make some big time. Look right there. You see Kevin locked on to Eric. And they actually break away from Gabe here. Gabe feels like a sitting duck. However, again, knowing their teammates at some point, they're going to roll out of it just a little bit. Let Gabe get latched back on. and then they'll try to see if they, I believe, try to get all three of their cars tandeling to the front. And that is the strategy these guys are trying to do, is they want to get locked on together, kind of just become a big train of themselves. And that 3-second gap is now down to 1.2 and closing. Likely you might see the fastest lap of the race right here as we get across the line. It was a 48.97 for Eric Laurie to a 50.22 for Roger Buff. So that's the speed difference that those guys were able to make there. And I don't actually, that may have not been, no, it was actually a 48.73, the fastest lap of the race so far tonight from Ryan Decker in that 61 machine. But you can see, though, they're back in the draft. Unfortunately, Edwin Outlaw, he has hit pit road there. I think saw he lost the draft. Maybe trying to just pit as soon as he lost that draft and see if he can cycle back with the pack. We'll keep an eye and see what the 12 car does. But right now, though, pretty much two distinct lines here on track here, but on the inside and outside, no real squeezing. You got the third line, you got the inside line, no real middle lane as of the moment. You saw right there, Edwin just leaving pit road there, so unfortunately going to roll out of pit road and lose the draft once more. So it's when it's not your night. Unfortunately, it's just definitely not your night. But look at Gabe and Kevin. They decided, you know what, we got to the front. We're going to pick up the draft here. Let's just try to see how far we can take it. As, oh, a little close call there for a moment there. I think the drivers saw the momentum. They wanted to get up there and be a part of it, but just guessed the momentum that those two had. And that little separation that they got, that really slowed down their momentum. But look now, the 052 and the 7, they want to jump up top. They want to be the drivers to get pushed by these two in front. So even though there's room to the bottom, they feel like, hey, the momentum's up top. Let's go with that. And so now you got this 4-car train starting to get lined up here and gain momentum here with that 052, the 7, the 25, the 88, and also now picking up the 10 of Bud Steele. Talk about the 61 losing the main pack, not losing the main pack, but falling out to the back of the main pack. There's a 61 Ryan Decker. He's coming right back into it. But again, no, now again, you got to be careful. Right? I'm looking at these two right here, Brandon Briggs, Eric Laurie. They just had a little bit of a hiccup miscue, and they're starting to fall out of the draft here. Unfortunately for Brandon here, I think he's going to lose these guys. Eric's also in a very dangerous spot. He's going to probably have to hope for some help here from his teammates. I would keep an eye, watch for the 25 and 88 if they get the opportunity to. They might try to drop back to pick up the 071, possibly the 63 as well. We'll have to wait and see. But again, pit stops, though, very, very soon here as we are on lap 26, coming to 27 of 75. And remember, Larry Fairman pitted at lap number 6. We think about a 20-lap window, so probably with those caution laps, probably in this time or next, I would say. So keep an eye on the 11 to probably have to duck in here into the pits very shortly. Yeah, here you go. Look at the Kevin Freeze. Yep, there goes Gabe. Gabe's going to the top. You know why? Right there. They're going to go back. They're going to pick up Eric. We'll see. I don't know if they'll be able to pick up Brandon as well or not, but they want to try to pick up their teammate before those pit stop windows happen. So we're just seeing a lot of shuffling. Again, just showing what you can do when you can kind of get these cars under your wing and get comfortable with them. There's a lot of things you can do that might be harder to do with these. But right now, though, Nick Manfredi, we saw him get spun a little bit earlier. He's recovered. He's currently back up into second place. Our earlier leader there, the 74 of Robert Jordan, sitting in third. Jim Brooks now sitting in the 4th position there. Just kind of been pretty much just cruising on the inside line. I think just taking it easy, waiting, biding his time, waiting to see how things are going to unfold in this race. Andy Brigante there as well in that 21. Also, actually, Andy Brigante was one that also went for a ride a little earlier. Great recovery for him. Again, I don't think any damage, just a slide. Is a little bump there between the 052 and the 7, trying to get themselves pushed back up there. So again, we'll watch the gaps between these drivers, because right up there goes the 11 Larry Fairman that we mentioned on pit road here, having to pit here a number of laps earlier than the rest of the field. Again, did not pit under that yellow and everybody else did, so that's the risk. And so unfortunately going to be a very lonely pit road entry for him. And you see here Gabe Butler waiting for his teammates. Here's Gabe, there's Kevin, here comes Eric, and they're actually losing a lot of time right now trying to get all lined up together here. So they're going to have to work really hard on this time by to try to make this happen. I don't think it's going to be nearly as easy as it was, because this time now they're coming to about 8-9 seconds off the lead pack here. So This is going to be some tough sledding for these guys. We'll see if they also may try to pick up Brandon Briggs. I'm not sure on that one, as I think that he might be just a little too far off here. So yeah, this will be intriguing to see how they're able to manage this one for those 3 teammates there. And I think we have a Matt Wagner trying to peek back in here. So you sound a little on the quiet side, Matt. So we'll let you keep working on it, bud. But definitely good to hear you.
I think we got it. Yep, we got it.
That sounds like a Matt Wagner I know and love.
My sincerely apologies. I had no idea. I was trying to move stuff in my room, and all of a sudden nothing worked. And I was frantically like trying to diagnose the problem, and I'm back.
Oh, you were good, my sir. Say right now we're on lap 30 of 75, so still plenty of time to go. Pit stops looming though, because again, we saw some drivers pit just a moment ago who did not pit under that last caution. These guys all pitted at lap 11 to 12, and we're on 31 now at the line. So probably in the next 2 to 3 laps, we'll see what they do. I'm also starting to watch that ticker though. Again, those three boondockers getting lined back up together. They were about 10 seconds off the pack in front, and that ticker is starting to go the right way. Last time by, they're about a half a second quicker with the 88.25 and 0.71. And they haven't been able to get all 3 of them kind of in that draft together yet. But right now they are starting to make some pretty good time with one another here, as still continues to be Roger Buff Sr. leading the way. And also, Matt, Boomer's very happy to hear you on the chat here.
Oh, hello, Boomer. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, here we go. Wow. Roger Buff going to hit pit road. I thought by himself for a second, but he's got help. He's got Robert Jordan. He's got Andy Bergante. Looks like nice, clean pit stops for entries for those 3 drivers now. That's going to put Nick Manfredi to the point for the moment. But you saw right there, Brad Slagle, he jumped up top, but nobody went with him. So Jim Brooks looks like he's going to line back up behind the 29 of Nick Manfredi. And, oh, that's going to be a lonely feeling for that 052 as he's jumped up top and got no help there. Just waiting to see if he gets some help. There's the help he was hoping for. With a big head of steam is Brad Slagle. And, oh, actually, they just slotted in the line. Oh, that was a big squeeze there in front of the 411 and Tom Dixon. I think these guys know it's about to be time to hit pit road. And I think they were fighting to make sure they got to the inside line here. And we'll see. Yep, here comes the big duck off onto the pits. And it looks like, oh, it's going to be high. Nope, that 61's not going to make it. He's going to hit both cones. It looks like, oh, almost caught the 29 as well. I think it's not going to be a good one for the 61. Probably a pit road entry penalty. Also, look how much time Gabe and Eric and them gained just on pit entry alone. I hadn't been watching lap times, but oh my goodness, they came out of nowhere to make that group. So now we'll see, Matt, where everybody cycles together. Great pit entry by the 7, nailed his pit stall here. Ooh. And now we just got to wait for these guys here. The 21 and 89, they've got on together here. And you know what, Matt? This looks like a really good pit stop for these 2 because they're locked on and they are going to just set sail here. I think they're going to easily clear the field right now. Now it's how well can they work together to try to stay away from the rest of the pack here.
Oh, like I said before, as I said, racing the Thursday race, it's a team effort.
Oh, trouble at 12. Uh-oh. Edward Allo, I think, just kind of indecision on where to put his car, tried to stay out of the way, and then actually wound up kind of going right across the path of Roger Buff Sr. And unfortunately, just got hooked there and just really unfortunately is going to cost those 2 that breakaway they were just about to have, because there's Andy. He was in front of all of that, and he's now off on his own. Nick Manfredi's the next in line. They're about 2 seconds back. So unfortunately, though, that's going to be a hard hit for them. And then, unfortunately, pit penalties like we expected. Ryan Decker, pit road penalty for him on that entry, but also Eric Laurie, unfortunately, got caught as well. So long pit stops for them. And actually, Bud Steele coming back on pit road, possibly a pit road exit violation, I would suspect, on the 10 car. So again, these green flag pit stops are really kind of shaking the field up as right now. And he's loving life, but he wants some drafting help, which he had with Roger, but unfortunately that's all gone now.
Yeah, like I said, time is really hurting Andy here with that much big of a gap of a lead. But look at those 4 cars right behind him. They are sitting there nose to tail, really well organized, catching up to the field here.
Yeah, here they come and there they go pretty much. I'll say because at that point, like I said, there's nothing nothing Andy could do. He was in the perfect spot, but then what happened was that contact with P in the 12 that's what broke them apart because otherwise they were looking like they could have break away from the field. And you can see, I think they want to get lined back up together. That 21 and the 89 looks like they've got a pretty good combination going here. And yeah, there they go. They're going to line right back up. You see Nick and Jim. They're going to try to tack right back along with them. And now it's Jimmy Crawford.
Now they're organized, yeah.
Yeah, so say good organization for these top 4. So now, but the thing is though, I think the gap has basically been reduced, and what we have again is unfortunate pit stops. I mean, it's the make or break for a lot of these drivers. As right now, you see you've got the top 4 with that first stint, and then you've got from 5th to 9th here that are now in the next pack, just about to catch them. And then unfortunately, those that did not have what they needed there, James Mohan, he's off on his own. Robert Jordan, well, looks like he was there. I think maybe had some connectivity issues. We mentioned Larry Fairman. He was in that pack, but then unfortunately had to pit early by himself. He's out of that group as well. Brendan Briggs lost the draft early, hasn't recovered from that yet. Then you get to these guys here that had the pit road penalties, Ryan Decker, Eric Laurie. Bud Steele, the penalty, I believe, on pit exit. And then we saw Edwin Outlaw having his issues a little bit earlier. So up front, though, like I said, kind of 2 packs at the moment, Matt. But yeah, it's soon to become I believe a 9-car lead pack here. As lap times are definitely starting to shift into the favor of these group of 5.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you what. Even though my lack of attendance here, I am really digging that 89 paint scheme. That is really slick out front.
Yeah, no, Roger's got a really, really good looking paint scheme. Let's actually focus in a little closer. You see they're coming up to that 12 car. But yeah, no, it's a really nice, that black and the gold. I say trying to catch the logo on it again. As you see, they're going to drift up to the top here. Try to see if they can get around that 12 car, put him up. He's actually going to drop to the apron just to give a little extra space. Looks like Frontline Esports, the sponsor on the side of that. And I believe on the hood of that, number 89. But yeah, it's a really, really good looking scheme. Let's say we should get a good look off the back of Andy Bergante here. As we can kind of get the look on the back. And it doesn't really quite give all of what it has, but that's a really, really nice looking scheme there for Roger.
Don't look, Nagel. That pack is closing.
Yeah, you got Gabe Butler locked onto Jimmy Crawford there and trying to push and get up there, and they've all picked up their pace, man. They're all running in the mid-upper 49-second bracket there. You also saw just for a moment on the camera there, they're going around Eric Laurie and Ryan Decker, and that's an important spot here because that's going to be the lucky dog battle as things run. So basically, if you're Eric, you want to make sure you stay ahead of that 61, so you don't want him to drop in behind the draft of Jim Brooks like that. Eric's going to need to try to play protect, I feel like, but actually looks like they're going to play nice here and stay in line. So right now, Eric in the lucky dog spot, but continues to be these two here, the 21 and the 89, leading the way. And like you said, Matt, though, the lap times are definitely looking good. Actually, quicker that last time by than this second pack here. So they're going to have to regroup and make another charge.
I was due to Roger Buck Sr.'s great pushing to the 21 of Andy Brigante there. He's, even though he's in the Chevy, he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and that's why we mentioned before, Matt, was some drivers actually switching to the Ford for the next gen because apparently a better pushing vehicle than the Chevy. You can see that point right there on the front of that 21's nose. But you can see, I mean, you can make it work, and these two have made it work, and they're starting to make some big pushes. And I think they're showing like, hey, we're going to be the ones to beat here because once again, they're starting to break away. And you see the big thing here too is, I'm sorry, wrong group here. So pointing at the wrong cars, apologies. But Eric Laurie, Ryan Decker, Ryan got around Eric, and Eric's starting to, just for a second, was looking like he was going to lose that draft. But once again, though, Matt, it was a 49.46 for the leader to a 49.89 for Jimmy Crawford. So these guys are doing a little bit better job up front right now of trying to break that gap with these guys. So
Yep.
yeah, so definitely credit where credit's due. Andy Brigante, Roger Buff Sr., they're not messing around with these next gen cars. They know how to make this happen.
As some of these guys with experience, and apparently Roger has the experience. It's very good for those guys who are leading the front pack right there to pretty much potentially to beat the boot knockers. It's really, really good. As you can see, their 63 is going high there, trying to stay out of the way there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brandon lost the draft before the pit stop cycle. So now his goal is right there. He needs to try to tag onto the back, pick up as much momentum as he can here, and then try to see if he can be in that lucky dog spot. Because now you got 3 lucky dog cars right here, Matt, all lining up together, the 61, the 071, and the 63. So at some point, something's going to change where one of them is going to want to try to make that momentum shift and say, hey, I want to be the one to get to the front here. So because you never know when something's going to happen. But once again, though, these two right here, they are put on a clinic, and I think they're realizing that, hey, this isn't working here. As you can see, they're starting to change the order. Kevin's actually going to now pick up, I believe that's the 052 of Brad Slagle, and Kevin's just about cleared these two. So I think, yep, there they go. They're going to jump in front. So I think they said, hey, let us be the lead group of drivers here. Gabe and Gabe and Tom are going to try to tag onto the back of them, basically. And I'm going to watch, once again, I'm going to watch the timing and scoring, because I think this might be the combo that these drivers were looking for.
I don't know what it is. If Nick can't keep up with Rogers pushing, or is he just kind of laying back there? I have pretty much no experience in these cars whatsoever.
Yeah, these are a whole different animal for sure. And I think for Nick, I think he's just taking it easy here. I think he's just saying, hey, as long as I don't lose these two, we're in a good spot. Because again, we still got pit stops to go. They last pitted, we're at 33 to go now, lap 43 of 75. They last pitted at lap number 31. So again, probably another 10 or so laps will be the pit window. And this is actually going to be interesting, Matt. This is going to be right on the edge of, could anybody make it to the end on fuel from here?
Oh.
Because I'm looking at the numbers. We're at 33 to go. They pitted at 31. So they've got about 12 laps, and it seems like roughly 20 laps. So if someone could go 21, maybe 22 laps on one stint, that could put them in the window. So we might see some fuel save from some of these guys, like the 29, like the 51. Yeah, we'll see. I'll say there's definitely some strategy that could be in play here. However, looking at lap times, and actually, instead of us telling you about lap times, let's show you the lap times. Right there on the left side, you see 49.50 up front. Go down a couple cars, 48.88 for the 052 and the 25. And you don't need the timing score. You can see it on the screen there now. Yeah. They're starting to pick up the toe, and they're on their way. You also saw there the number 10 of Bud Steele. He's now sort of getting back into this pack as well. Unfortunately for Bud, I believe is 2 laps down with the penalty he had, just to make things worse on that 10 car. So not the night he was looking for.
And they were trying all their best to stay right in front of that back there. And now, Kevin Fries and Co., I think they have caught the pack.
Yep, I think they're there, but I think we're starting to see a little separations. I want to say, when I'm watching, oh yeah, there goes Brad Slagle, ran the fastest lap of the race, at 48.36, over a second faster than the leaders there. That's just how fast these things can go. But what we're seeing though is Kevin is going back to pick up Gabe, because he wants to make sure that his teammate doesn't lose this main pack. So they've actually had to lose the draft again, just to basically try to pick up these guys right here. So we'll see if the 11 can kind of get that push that he's hoping for as well. And yeah, there goes Kevin. He's going to lock onto the 11. 88's going to try to tag onto him, and they're going to try to set sail. And actually, just behind them, yeah, the 411 of Tom Dixon, the 7 of James Mohan, doing the same thing here. So just trying to lock on and basically tandem their way to the front. And once again, actually, I think another fastest lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken, for Brad Slagle. That car has been making some big speed there in that 052 to be able to chase back up to this main pack. So yeah, right now it's going to be all about strategy and basically, and I think maybe a little bit of fuel mileage potential. Like I said, these two up here definitely are not saving any fuel.
No, they're not.
Roger Buff Sr. has been pushing Andy Bergante for dear life right now.
Yeah, You got to do it, as you saw in the last couple of races. You're gonna have to just work with that Gabe Butler and company. It's working, but unfortunately they broke up just to pick up somebody, and it may cost them or it may not. We'll find out.
Yeah, because like I said, right now it's definitely a breakaway because you've pretty much got the top 5 together. Then you have to go all the way back here to the 84 of Jimmy Crawford. As you can see, they have picked up Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, and Kevin Freeze. And I think right there was just a little bit of a push. Didn't quite work for the 84. He's going to have to try to tag back onto the back of these guys. But realistically, I think this is really what Eric and them want. Again, these guys race with each other week in and week out. Not a knock on Jimmy, but he's probably not as versed as running with the boot knockers as they are with one another. So again, I think we're going to start to probably see some lap time here in just probably a lap or two. Watch for that gap that's right now 3.37, 3.38 seconds between DO52 and the 25. It's going to start to shift, I think, back the other way, especially if we start to see that second lane, these guys go 2x2, because again, Bud Steele, he needs to try to get one of those 2 laps back. This is important for him, so watch for Bud. Bud's going to have to get aggressive here. He's pushing, actually, I think he's trying to push Brad Slagle as we speak. So yeah, so he's going to have to get aggressive here to try to get one of those 2 laps back and then hope for that timely caution.
I never did look at the how much that gap is. It is at 4 seconds now.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it for sure. And I do see it kind of, it's going back and forth. But while we have a second now, let's run through the field here. Haven't done so yet tonight, as right now Andy Bergante leading in that number 21 with big help from Roger Buff Sr. right behind him in that 89. Nick Manfredi sitting in the 3rd spot in that number 29. He's gone around once tonight, but he's been able to grab a gear, get back going. And 4th is the 51 of Jim Brooks in that Ford Mustang. And then again, in this main pack in 5th position is that 052 of Brad Slagle. Then you have to go about 3 seconds back to pick up Kevin Freeze in that 25 car. Right now sitting outside top 5 in 6th. 7th, you have Gabe Butler in that number 88 Guinness machine. And 8th, you got to go again a little bit further back to pick up the 411 of Tom Dixon. And then currently in 9th, actually just leaving pit road, there is Jimmy Crawford. A little early pit stop for him. I'd say not sure if it was scheduled or not, or just decided to try to do something different. But he's rolling out of pit road now. You're about to see the field swing right on by him, which is going to change his running order very shortly. And then we get to that lucky dog battle, because right now Ryan Decker in the 61, he is in that lucky dog spot as they run, as he's the first car one as they just get around that number 84. Then you go to Brandon Briggs in the 10th spot, also one down there in the Me Machine, followed by, well, we just talked about Jimmy Crawford, so then you go back to Eric Laurie, who is sitting in 12th. Oh, caution is out, and you can see just in front.
Big wreck.
Oh, the 84 who just pitted was one of those involved in it. And I think I see the 12 of Edwin Outlaw. Yep, 12 also involved. And I think I see the 21 here down on the apron. And don't believe that was a scheduled pit stop. I think that car might be in trouble here as well. So we'll go back. We'll take a look. And because right now, let's see what happened, because that was right at the very front of the field here, Matt.
Ooh.
So we're going to go back. We're going to take a look at this one.
I don't know what to make it that, Gael.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here. So let's go.
Either that could be malfunction or just a side draft gone wrong.
All right, so we're going to pull up where the caution was. Here's our leaders. And try to see if we can catch where it begins. I think, I think it's just a push gone wrong, I think. Well, are they trying to pit here? Oh, I think the caution's actually, is it behind them?
It is,
caution was behind them. A little confused about this is interesting. Let's go back a little further. Apologies for this. We're going a little further. Okay, there's the 12 Edwin Outlaw. And I think I think the 12 just misjudges the 84. Was trying to tuck into the draft. Unfortunately for the 84 of Jimmy Crawford.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just unfortunately a mistake on the part of the 12. So that's the caution. But what's a little confusing to me though, Matt, is the caution comes out, but you still saw a race leader though hit pit road. But unfortunately too, you're going to see here, I believe some other drivers might get a piece out of this.
You know who really loved that caution? Ryan Decker.
Lucky dog. So we'll jump back live because they are on pit road. You see Andy. So it's not all said and done for Andy because, again, he had to pit there. Depending on, I don't know if there's a penalty or not because I believe the caution was already out as he entered pit road. Maybe he was going to run out of fuel. I'm not sure. But he might wind up having to fall to the back of the end of the line. So that's going to probably put him, I believe, a lap down. I was thinking he might get the wave around and be at the tail end, but I think he might get caught here. I do see, but like I said, Ryan Decker, he's back on the lead lap, so a big break for him. And then looking for strategies here, I believe you see these guys here, they're hoping for a very quick restart caution, I believe here, Matt, if I'm not mistaken, because they stayed out. Brandon Briggs, one of those in the 63, decided to stay out. Those that also had just pitted under that green, Larry Fairman pitted at lap number 46, so he's pretty close to when those other guys pitted. Bud Steele also trying to stay out, hoping for a break as well. And trying to see Eric Laurie. No, Eric's actually behind some lead lap cars, so he won't be able to benefit from it. Oh, actually, he pitted at 50. I apologize. So that's the same there. Then James Mohan actually as well, though, pitted at lap number 48. So I think he will be another one of those. No, he's behind our leader, Nick Manfredi. So I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It looks like Nick's going to restart as our leader here. But yeah, unfortunately, I think that hurts Andy Bergante the worst in this caution, though. And yeah, there you go. He's having to let everybody by. And oh, that's a tough one to swallow for that 21 car.
Yeah, I know. Rough. Damn it.
However,
I feel for him, man.
I'm watching the numbers now. I don't think this is in a window to make it to the end.
So we got how much to go? We got to go.
We're going to restart with 22 to go. We're coming around the 23 to go here. We're going to get the 1 to go. And I pretty much see the field except for Jim and Nick here topping off. So you know who loves field mileage races?
Not me.
Kevin Freeze. So we're going to pull in Daytona 24-hour winner, fuel mileage aficionado Kevin Freeze here. Because, Kevin, this caution, I don't know, is this in a window where you can make it, or is it race, or is it you can make it if you kind of plug your nose and do the big fuel save?
I am thinking there's no chance to make it. But it's close. So I would have to save like almost to a gallon and a half probably. I don't know if it's possible, and I don't want to find out the hard way that it's not. So this is a tough one. I hope you guys are enjoying the race, though.
You guys have been putting on some moves. I mean, you've had to do a lot of teamwork here early, pick up some teammates, push them back to the front. And we kind of mentioned like you guys were going to be doing some teamwork, some kind of just almost some teaching for some of those that maybe need a little bit of practice with these cars, because again, they race so differently than the Xfinity cars. And we're also going to have a giant single file restart line here, so that's going to be important to get through the gears here in just a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when we see a few times we went back, we look at you and Gabe and Eric get lined up, and I mean, you guys would pick up some ridiculous time on it. So it's, again, like you said, it's a skill that needs to be learned, but when you can get it, it definitely pays dividends. So yeah, I have a feeling it doesn't matter where you are on that white flag lap. If there's an opening and you guys are locked on together, it's going to be all for it.
Yeah, a lot of that. Eric actually got caught the one time. He went back to try and get somebody who lifted at the wrong time. And in this car, if you lift at the wrong time when you're the last car, you're going to lose the draft, because that's just it's just the momentum-based car. When you lose it and the front group has it, you're done. So we had to go back. So hopefully people learned from that incident, and then just watching the way that the draft line, what makes it move the most efficiently, that's just been big, and we've been working on it. Roger's obviously very good at that as well.
Yeah, we've seen Roger being some big pushers. So we'll let you get back to it, because I say you're already rolling gears. So good luck the rest of the way there, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Hope you guys enjoy the end.
All right, so that was Kevin Freeze going through the gears on the restart while having a chat with us, Matt. But up front, though, Nick Manfredi, and yeah, Jim Brooks, kind of the lone man on the outside line, but I think got a nice little lifeline there from friend and teammate Bud Steele. So, all right, so Matt, so Kevin says he doesn't think anybody can make it. I'm going to say someone thinks that they can make it. The 29-51, they did not top off, so they got just a tiny bit less fuel than the rest of the field here. So now the question is, what do we see here? Do we see outright just brawl to the finish here to try to get to the front? Or are we going to see anybody just really lay back who's in the lead pack? And then we got to watch that lucky lot battle, because we've got Brandon Briggs, we've got Larry Fairman, we got Eric Laurie. Those three cars are going to want that lap back, so we might see some big fighting from those guys. As right now, Brandon has it, but I want to count them out. Yeah, and also the 21 here, Andy Brigante. Actually, I need to update that. And he's still on the lead lap, so that's a big break for him. I thought he is actually a lapper so down, so I'm glad to see that. And again, we've seen what you can do in these cars, so Andy's definitely, if he can get logged back up to that 89 of Roger Buff Sr., all bets are off for the rest of the field.
Look who's trying to work their way through in the middle with no help.
Yeah, I'm saying, surprising though, actually for once didn't work. Usually pretty much Gabe does anything and it just magically happens, but yeah, looks like he will need some help in this case. Now he's going to drop to the inside, but look at this, Matt. We're running side by side, but you've got the yellow line, you've got the wall. They're not squeezing each other like we're used to with the Xfinity cars. Oh, Kevin Freeze tried to get to the bottom.
3 wide here.
Now we're 3 wide. Kevin Freeze saw an opening. He's going to take it. And these guys are going to grab a gear and get back after it here. But it looks like Jim Brooks, Nick Manfredi, they look pretty dedicated together. Bud Steele also in that boat. These guys doing a good job here early. But again, a handful of these guys did not pit under that caution. So I believe, actually, no, I'm sorry, I've proven wrong here. It looks like everybody did actually come back in. The one driver that pitted the latest, though, Larry Fairman in the 11 car, I believe that was to go from 2 down to 1 down. So right now, Larry's he's definitely going to have to pit to the end on fuel. He wants a yellow before he has to hit that pit window.
This is going to be very tight. I'm really interested to see who can actually save this. Oh, there was almost a big conflict there between the.
Well, I see a little connection happening here, and we know when these two get together, you're in trouble. And here they come, the 88-25. You see Jim give a little bump to the 51 to give him a little extra boost there to just for the moment thwart off the attack from these two in front, but they're starting to pick up some help on the outside line as well. So watch for these two, and also watch for that third line, though. I'm starting to see the 411, I believe that is Tom Dixon. He's trying to creep to that third lane, but I think they saw that everybody started to squeeze up a little higher there and say, no, not quite yet here. I still want to be up front, but at the line, I believe Gabe Butler did lead that lap, but it was tight between the two. But now you can see they have easily cleared. Looks like the front 3 cars, should they choose to get to the bottom, they do. You saw the 84 wanted to get down, could not do so. However, though, the 84 again also trying to get his laps back as he's currently sits 2 down. So right now, like I said, a lot of strategy for track position here as well.
Right now, I pretty much want to be mid-pack. I want to have somebody behind me, and I want to have somebody in front of me if I want to save fuel here.
Yep, here we go. Short pit strategy going on for some drivers. So Jim Brooks, you got Jim Brooks, Nick Manfredi, and Bud Steele. They said, we can't make it, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to pit early, take just a splash field to make it to the end. So they're going gamble here. They said, you know what? We want to get our pit stop here. They will be able to pit and not go a lap down. So that is a good call for those guys. But now they got to make sure that they hit their marks. Oh, Nick Manfredi too far over. He's going to back it up. That's going to cost him time. and possibly cost him the draft as well. They need to stay together if they can. You see Jim and Bud are gone. Now Nick's going, so the question is, do they wait for Nick or do they just stay in it? They should ideally wait for Nick to have their best chance at it, but just unfortunately, you want that organization. So now we wait. Do we see any response from the rest of the field? And the answer is yes. Here comes Gabe. Here comes Kevin. I presume we'll see the 071 of Eric Laurie. Yep, there comes Eric as well. And here they all come in together, and we'll see if they can. We'll see if they can do what those three that pitted that last time by were hoping to do.
I'm really, really shocked that the 21 and the 7, the 89, they didn't pit with those guys because they're about to lose the draft here. But see if they can keep up with those cars in front of them there.
Yeah, and right now it looks like it's just Jim and Bud. It looks like, unfortunately, Nick Manfredi's kind of off to fend for himself at the moment. So, but up front, though, these guys, and this is going to be these next couple laps, is going to be all about watching lap times. So they still have to build up to speed, so we're not there yet, but that's going to be the next goal. But you're right, though. Yeah, the 21 is starting to lose those guys up in front of them, Andy Bergante. So, but I'm not too worried. I think they'll be able to do so.
Catching them. Yeah, here they come.
Yeah, so he's close enough, and he's getting a great push from that 7 of James Mohan. So what I'm going to do, Matt, is we're going to switch it once again. We're not going to watch the gap. We're going to watch lap times, and we're going to see what their last laps are. And yeah, they're back, and they said, you know what? We're not going to just say, we're going to jump to the top here as well. So there's some strategy afoot in this one, if you will. So we're still waiting for the first up to speed lap for the 51 and company. However, what I can tell you is after the pit stop, though, Gabe and Kevin, they have separated themselves from Jim and Bud Steele by about 5 seconds. So unfortunately, that early pit stop didn't work out for those two, or for those three drivers. It has worked out in advantage to Gabe and Kevin. Now we have to wait to see in response what do these drivers do. Again, waiting for Gabe and Kevin in their first official lap back up to speed, because last time it was a 55.8. We know that's not the actual lap time because these guys have been running in the 49 and low 50 second brackets. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Now I'm seeing everybody go to the bottom now. I'm wondering if they're going to come in for a pit stop, or are they just trying to increase that lead as much as possible, so that way Gabe and company, that they don't, as you would say, pass them.
Yeah, and so I'd say waiting for the lap times right now. So this time I believe they just crossed line, so it looks like the 25 and the 88, they ran a 49.09. Last time by Andy Bergante was a 49.09. They're going to cross the line now. Let's see what lap time they run, because that's going to be the big question mark, is if they're gaining or losing. 49.63, over half a second slower, Matt. So advantage right there goes right back to the 25 and the 88. And you can see they have the three of them again. They got Gabe, they got Kevin, they have Eric. Unfortunately, Eric's a lap down, but I mean he is doing some big help and big work to be that third car to be involved in this one. So yeah, right now they're definitely going after.
I'm really shocked at the 21 left the back because they were making a little headway there.
And then Nick Manfredi, he's got to figure out where to go, man. He wants to go high, but then he has to go low, and so yeah, they're gonna drop to the middle lane, let them get on by him. So unfortunately for Nick, again, he lost the draft from those guys. So now he's got to try hard here. He's got to tag onto the back of these guys and be able to hang on to this draft. So that's his goal right now. Lap time wise, again, looking at the last time, actually pretty equal. 49.77 for the 21, 49.77 for Gabe Butler. So pretty much identical lap times that last time around.
They were 49.7 last time around there,
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so two 49.7s for each, for the leaders and for the second pack. So pretty much even. So no time gained or lost there. Also looking at the pit stop times, and honestly, not much difference between Gabe and Kevin and Jim and Bud and them. I think it was just the Gabe and them just attached quicker in and out of pit road. So far that's the difference maker this time around. Looking for the lap times is a 31.90 for Gabe. This time is a 30, or sorry, oh yeah, no, 31. Ooh, I'm looking at pit lane time. I'm sorry. Looking at the wrong ticker here. There we go. 49.35 for Gabe, 49.64 for Andy. So again, advantage goes to Gabe and Kevin. So right now the numbers aren't going the way that these guys up front are looking to have here, Matt.
Yeah, each lap that goes by, tenth of a second, half a second, it all adds up.
Yeah, what's basically happening right now is this is kind of turning into a fight for third place, because right now it looks like it'll be a 1-2.
Oh, we have some cars hitting pit road.
Yeah, here we go. Some drivers
like
hitting pit road. Brad
Extreme and 89.
Slagle. Yep, Roger Buff's in there. Tom Dixon. Oh, it was hot on the entry. I think he made the cone, so I think he might get away with that one.
Oh,
So we'll see.
Got busted.
Oh, the 052?
Yep. Brad Slagle got busted.
That's a heartbreaker for Brad, unfortunately. So now it's up to Roger here. He gets his pit stall nicely. Tom Dixon needs to do the same. Looks like he gets in nice and clean as well. So that leaves these two now, Andy Bergante, Ryan Decker. They still need to pit as our leaders. And then you get those drivers. Oh, what are we looking for? Yeah, there's Brad, unfortunate with the penalty. But yeah, so now saying already Gabe and Kevin, they're long gone. They've already passed these guys that just pitted. So unfortunate strategy did not pan out for them. They went long. There's Ryan. Oh no, Andy Bergante gets into the cone there. He's gonna have a pit penalty as well. It's gonna leave Ryan Decker on his own on pit exit. But that will pretty much complete the cycle. But what this does do is at the moment, we'll switch it back to the gap here, because we now have a number of drivers that are tail end of the lead lap here. Brandon Briggs is one of those in the 63. Nick Manfredi, he's already pitted. He is good to the end, but he's still, unfortunately, not where he wants to be. Also, the 84 of Jimmy Crawford. You see everybody's trying to figure out where they want to position themselves. But right now, it's these three right here. They've set sail. They've done their pit strategy, and they've nailed it to perfection. You saw Jim Button and them try to undercut him, just unfortunately didn't quite work. That being said, though, Matt, we still have 9 to go here, which for whatever reason must say my 9 to go is not looking very normal here. We'll switch it over here for just a second. There's the 9 laps to go. Yeah, so my timing.
Well, we do have a nice little group catching these other two cars, but what is the gap now? Yeah, that's too far of a gap. It's about 11 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ryan Decker did a great job, but he's off by himself right now. So he did everything he could, but you can see he's got pretty much, he's just off on his own here. His best hope is that car in front of him, which is the 052 of Brad Slagle. If Brad backs down a little bit and picks up Ryan has a chance to still hold on to this podium finish in third position. So
yeah.
If not, though, then it's going to be these guys right here that are going to be fighting for it. Roger Buff Sr., Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, or not Bud Steele, I'm sorry, Roger Buff Sr., Jim Brooks, and Tom Dixon. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, there's still a lot of time to go here. We're 8 to go here. I don't know why it's showing pretty much looks like 80 to go on my timing scoring. So some oddness going on the ticker there. We'll switch it over to this one. That way it looks at least more appropriate. But yeah, right now, I guess now the question, Matt, is without a yellow, do we see any shenanigans between these two up front, the 88 and the 25? Do they try to see if maybe Kevin can maybe snooker Gabe a little bit and find a way to steal a win off of him?
Oh, he could. He could easily back up to the 21 and pretty much blow the doors off the 88, but it's hard to tell. It's too early. But you know how dedicated these guys are.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll say now Andy Bergante again. He's going to try to get his lap back right now, because I believe right now is the first car one down, but actually Eric Loria say Eric's got to make sure he stays in front of him there.
Didn't think that was going to happen.
Because Eric needs to make sure he doesn't lose that spot, because again, right now Brandon Briggs is still on the tail end of the lead lap. He is not pitted yet. He's just hoping to get that timely yellow. Hasn't happened as of yet, but we're getting down to it here. About to get to 5 to go next time around. And yeah, at this point, these guys they've done what they need to do. You can see they've locked on. They're even trying to, now they're kind of sneaking away from Eric a little bit there. So really this is going to be the battle for third, the final podium spot. Right now, Roger has it. The 40, big contact between a couple of those guys. A little bit of a coordinating effect there. really close call there. These guys are getting a little bit overly dicey here, Matt. I'll say this is the last thing that Gabe and Kevin want to see, because if they start kind of bumping and pushing like they are, eventually bump could go wrong, and that could lead to some big trouble for a caution to come out, and that's going to be the last thing those two want to see. So, but this is the battle for the final podium spot right here. You got the 89, the 40, 411, and the 51. And they're all lockstep with one another here. You know, Bud, he'll be willing to go with Jim wherever Jim goes. But that's if there's an opening, as we are now 5 to go here for these guys. About half a lap ahead, though, is the 88 and the 25. They're just lockstep right now. So right now, I'm going to stay focused on here, because this is where these guys up on this third on back are getting pretty dicey right now.
Yeah, they are. I was kind of looking at see if Ryan Decker could do anything from the back of the pack, but he did have a nice little push for the 052 at Brad Slagle there. Kind of just wanted to stick with his teammates, I guess.
Again, I think also he just got to time it right, because, yeah, the 052 could kind of be his biggest helper, because if he can lock onto him and just kind of tandem the 052 around those guys, it basically net him up into that third spot. So you're right. So it's actually it's not just 3 of them; it's 4 of them. We got to include Ryan, because he was actually ahead of all those guys, but came out by himself, unfortunately, when he pitted and just wound up falling all the way back to this pack here. So, but yeah, we're down to it though, Matt. We are at 4 to go. Apologies. Saying I'll make sure next week's got the ticker looking more correctly instead of saying 40-ish to go. I don't know what's going on. I say everything's not working right today, it seems like. But
you're
yeah,
telling me.
Yeah, it's definitely been the technical difficulty week tonight, it feels like. But up front, Gabe and Kevin, they just crossed line 3 to go as these guys come out of 4. And they're going to get 3 to go. And I see right there, I saw Ryan Decker. Yeah, he just was able to squeeze underneath the 052 here. So a little surprised by that. I really thought those two would actually be, like I said, they would try to push each other to help out.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe they're switching positions possibly too. As you see, unfortunately, Brandon Briggs, he waited as long as he could, finally had to pit. He falls back a lap down as well, as we're now about half a lap here from getting the 2 to go.
Yeah, because I was watching the 61. He was like trying to send a message to the 052, say, hey, come on, I'll push you. And just, he wouldn't go.
But now what these two drivers want to see is they want to see one more clean lap. They want to get to the white flag, and then from there, see if they try to do any moves to try to get that, see who gets the 1-2 in the order between you got the battle of the beers actually here. You got Guinness versus Bud Light. So we'll see if that comes into fruition, as here comes that second pack. They get the 2 to go as well. So wait for the moves. I was saying, it might be one of those things where they say, you know what, let's wait till the white before we do it. So maybe you'll see some drivers start to back off to each other, because you already see they're really starting to build some separation. Actually, look at there, the 61 Ryan Decker actually separated Jim Brooks and Bud Steele. That's a big opportunity there for Ryan as well, because now that takes away a helper for Jim. So yeah, this could get interesting here. So here's out of 4. This is what these two want to see. They want to see that white flag, because they know from here it's an official race, and this is what they're looking for, and I think they're gonna get it. And there you go, white flag is out. It's gonna be a race between Gabe and Kevin for the win, and then behind them this will be the battle for the final podium spot and the top 5, as we've got 3rd through 6th here in this pack. Right now Roger has it. Tom, Jim, and Ryan are gonna try to see if they can spoil that though. All right, coming down the backstretch, top 2 still lockstep. So if Kevin's going to make a move, it's going to be late out of 4. Second pack here coming out of 2. Oh, a little slide by 7. He drifts up to the top. It's going to this will allow for some momentum shifting. Do we see anybody jump up to the 7? Nope, they're going to stay lockstep as well. So you can see everybody starting to move around, trying to see if they can break drafts from one another. But up front, looks like Gabe and Kevin, I think they're going to stay lined up together. Yep, you see Kevin roll out of it. Gabe Butler going to get the win here over Kevin Freese. Now we jump back to that battle for the 3rd spot. You see Jim, he's got a good push from the 61. Does he stay committed to him,
he's
though?
Really locked on the Jim here.
Oh, the 89's
Let's see if he
block
can get it out the line here.
Oh,
he's going to get it.
Close, and yet
Wow.
Jim Brooks getting the push from Ryan Decker. He's going to steal that 3rd spot away from Roger Buff, courtesy of Ryan Decker. So I'll say it's going to be a bit of a thank you, I have a feeling, for that 61 car coming from that 51. But
Nice
yeah,
job.
Ryan locked onto Jim, and I mean, again, you saw they just hooked on, and then they just set sail, and that's what these cars can do. That tandem is very, very powerful, and I think Ryan is showing he's going to be one you want to make friends with because he can push. We saw it throughout the night tonight. He's been really good, but I like a lot of what I'm seeing though out of some of these drivers. Roger Buff Sr. He definitely had a lot of pace tonight as well. However, up front here, I say Gabe's going to do one extra lap here
Even
just
though
to
I
make
can't
sure that
talk
victory
to
is
you
safe
guys,
here. So great
that
job by those
was,
guys.
Really awesome.
Yeah, no, that was a good push there at the end. It was a big move there by the 6151 locking on. Roger probably felt like he was kind of just got picked on there at the end. And then Timmy, definitely look forward to seeing you back, here soon. I say no worries about the car numbers. I say if you need help with anything like that, we've got a lot of great drivers and people to help out with all that kind of stuff with the paints and car numbers. So definitely look forward to seeing you here on track as well soon, sir. So we'll follow Gabe around. While we follow Gabe around, before we get to those interviews, man, let's pull up our final results because those will be pretty quick to run through here. Gabe Butler winner by 0.5 seconds over Kevin Freeze. Saw Kevin kind of roll it off just a little bit at the very end there over Jim Brooks in third there, getting that big push by Ryan Decker. Even Ryan able to clear Roger with that big push. Still gets a top 5 for Roger Buff Sr. though. Tom Dixon in 6th. Then you got Nick Manfredi, Eric Laurie actually wind up finishing on the lead lap. So great job by those guys hanging on to that one. Or actually, no, I think they're left and it actually switched to minute. Yeah, there's all sorts of weirdness with this updates with the SDK. So apologies for the kind of the odd intervals here. I think there were some changes made for the 24-hour stuff. But Eric Laurie, Brad Slagle, Andy Brigante are top 10. And then you got Brandon Briggs, Bud Steele, Jimmy Crawford, Larry Fairman, James Mohan, Edwin Outlaw, Robert Jordan, and Timmy Reed are final finishers with this one tonight. All right, as you see, Gabe's kind of doing some reversing here on the track, probably trying to find the perfect spot to get his pictures going. I say when you're this much of a professional, you got to find the right spot to put your car in to do your burnouts. And so I don't know, you think he's trying to maybe draw some double eights here? So while we watch Gabe, we're going to now pull up our top 3 finishers here. And so we'll start off with that number 51. So we'll roll back here to the white flag so we can get a better look at that car. Probably a car that needs a little bit of paint updating. Won't name names or anything like that.
Yeah, I already know who that is.
Let's go ahead and drag in our 3rd place finisher. Got a big push there at the end there. Able to grab a 3rd here tonight. And Matt and I, we love this pit strategy. You guys tried to undercut some of those boot knockers, if you will. Try to undercut them. Unfortunately, lost Nick in the pit stop. Overshot his pit stall just a tiny bit there. But then, so you guys it was pretty much the giant battle for 3rd there at the end. And it looked like it was gonna be you and Bud trying to lock on and try to push forward. And then he got shuffled out, and then Ryan got locked onto you. And I mean, it looked like you just hung on and went wherever that 61 was going to push you there.
Yeah, thank Ryan for that. That was great. Now, as soon as I started closing on the car ahead of me, it's like I'm going outside now, and I hope he goes with me. And he was just banging on the back of me, and it worked pretty well. Yeah, we almost made the strategy work, but Nick didn't quite hang with us.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a slight overshoot of the pit stall, so he had to reverse it. And in these things, you lose half a second, and that's all she wrote, unfortunately. But like I said, Matt and I mean, we looked at the numbers. The pit stop times were the same, pit lane times were the same. Just unfortunately, the separation of trying to build the speed back up looks like what cost the time. But I mean, it shows you guys are working on the strategies to find ways to try to sneak around. We saw other drivers try to pit late. You guys pitted early. So, I mean, there's no real rhyme or reason, it feels like, for what's the best approach as of yet. A lot of learning, it looks like, still going on with these cars.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, Nick and I were doing pretty good there for a while. And then I don't remember, caution came out or whatever. Yeah, I think it did. And that sort of messed up our little strategy there because we were doing pretty well at that point. But yeah, it's you never know with these. It's a crapshoot, but they're a lot of fun, more fun than the others, in my opinion.
Yeah, say I would have been out there with you tonight, but I had to cover the shift for my employees, so that's how nice of an owner I am, you know. But no, I mean it was a really good job tonight for you, and obviously Matt and I are probably a little biased seeing you get up there to be able to grab the top three tonight as well. So definitely though want to give you the floor before we let you go, and any thanks and shouts for that third place tonight.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for covering, and for you for forfeiting your race so you could do it. And Roswell Motorsports, Bud, he helped a whole lot. Nick, we were a good little team there. I think we got some future here. Maybe we can snag another person or two. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'd consider go hire Ryan because it looks like he's not one to mess around with that
he
pushing
is.
thing.
He's a
So yeah,
very good driver.
yeah, I think we
I
found a
agree.
recruit.
I think he's got to be on the list. You're right.
Well, actually, I think he's still in Discord, so I'll have his people talk to your people and see if we can get something together there. But yeah, great job though tonight and getting that third place.
All right, thanks, Kyle, man.
All right, Matt. We'll switch over to our runner up here, and saying I think he'll take the runner up spot. He's had a pretty good weekend. Did some driving at this not this track, but a shared super speedway track, but did some left turns and right turns for about 24 hours and pulled off a big win over there. So to come home with the runner up, so it looked like you and Gabe were just like, you know what, we're gonna stay the way we lined up after the pit stops if we stay green. And I mean, you guys just locked on, and I mean, we saw throughout the race. I mean, obviously we talked to you about picking people up, pushing them back up there, and once it was time to go, though, I mean, you guys pretty much, I want to say through the pit stop cycle, it was about a 4-second lead just right off the bat from you guys and the 51 and the 10. And then, of course, the other group went really long, and Matt and I were watching lap times and just like, this doesn't look like it's going to work out too well for the late strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah, we just wanted, once we saw the pit window was open, it was like, oh, let's jump in here, because I honestly thought more people were gonna short pit. And then when I thought the lap times, they were actually running faster than us, and then Gabe pointed it out that we were pulling away, but we're still trying to like tag on as many people as we can, just so they can learn, just watching what the draft behaves like and how I was doing it differently than others in the race. Because I mean, you're gonna learn from everybody you see, there what to do, what not to do. I mean, I spun, I forget who it was earlier in the race, so that's definitely something I can go back to and say, all right, maybe I shouldn't do whatever I did there. But I just like this car. There's so much to learn on it to get better, and I just hope everybody looks at it that way and just tries to get better at one phase of this car every single race, because that's how you just build up the knowledge bank that even helps you in the officials.
Yeah, I mean, as saying, obviously talking to my dad there for third. I mean, he even mentioned like these cars are fun. He enjoys racing them. I'll say it'd be nice to grab a few more people, because again, you get the bigger fields and you're going to get those bigger packs, which will then kind of it'll help kind of prevent the breakaways, if you will, a little bit as well, just with the bigger numbers. But I mean, it was like I said, there was some big moves, and that's what's really cool about these cars is you don't have to be in the top 3 or 5 or 6 spots to be able to win these races. I mean, we saw the momentum shifts, and you guys were going from pretty much maybe top 10, top 15, get the run, get the momentum going, as long as nobody could try to jump your line. I mean, you guys just set sail and you could pick up so much speed. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's why, like when I'm riding in the pack and I see, like you see the runs developing, cars getting them, and then when I see them lift and stay in line, I'm like, oh my God, just take the run. It's going to go somewhere. And I think the more confident people get in the car with the way they know how it'll react to the run, they'll be more willing to do it, because it's not necessarily, you don't have these massive teams that are just committed to each other and won't push anybody else. I mean, if I see a car going with a huge run, you're going to want to tag on to them, or maybe you time it up with another person. Like I was, Dio 52, I was trying to work with him a little bit. Brad went I was like, oh, because Gabe was hot pushing line. I'm like, just drag your brake back to me and we can leapfrog to the front of the line. But it takes people doing those things to learn it. And then once they learn it once, like, hey, I can now apply it moving forward. And what your run does mid race, then you can move to the end of the race and just get a little more solid at the things in that in between time. But it really rewards being aggressive, taking your runs, stalling people out when they have them if you need to. It's just a fun car that isn't just sit in line. Oh man, we just got 3 wide and now we're in a parking lot.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some of those parking lot races in the Xfinity cars and the trucks because, like I said, if you're not in that main pack, you're at that point you're just hoping something happens and you get through it. But no, it was really fun to watch you guys make some big moves there, and like I said, then once the time was right, you hit pit road and that's where the practice pays off. Nailed your pit entry, nailed your pit exit, stayed all three of you together, and from there you're able to set sail. So it was a great job tonight, Kevin. Like I said, obviously we talked about the teamwork between you guys, and just again, that's what makes you guys a really, really tough group to beat. We've got a lot of good new names and new faces coming on. I saw a lot of talent coming on, just didn't have the luck they needed here tonight, but yeah, I definitely think there's going to be some more to show and here shortly. But definitely congrats on the podium here tonight with that runner-up, and of course, big congrats to you and your teammates on that Daytona 24 as well. That's a very, very tough accomplishment to happen there, as Matt and I can well attest to, man.
Oh,
so
yeah.
go enjoy that one. And before we let you go, though, definitely want to give you any thanks and shout-outs for the run tonight.
Yeah, thank you and Matt for putting on the broadcast. They're fun to watch. I get to look at the picture of wonderful Ted on the screen right now, and that's always funny. But thank you to the drivers for sticking with it, coming back for races with this car. It can be a challenge, but they're learning everything. I mean, this was better, I think, than the first race was at Daytona for everybody. Thank you to Roger for coming out and racing with us tonight. I think he's going to be with us all season now, just running. Hopefully, people learn off of him and we're all more than willing to share what we know about this car to help make the racing better, the drivers better, and that makes the whole entire league better. But thank you to everybody, and thank you, of course, to my teammates.
Yeah, Roger's gonna be one to watch. He was making some big moves. He and the 21 Andy Brigante, they were lockstep tonight. Unfortunately, got separated towards the end, but yeah, he's gonna be one to watch for sure.
Oh yeah, Roger's one I have to race in official races, so I'm very well aware of what he can do.
All right, well, great job tonight, Kevin. Look forward to seeing you on track again here soon, sir.
Thank you guys again.
All right, Matt, that leaves us one last guy to chat with. I think he knows a thing or two about winning races, and that is going to be the number 88 of Gabe Butler getting the win here tonight in that unbranded, I should say, vehicle there. Sponsored by Guinness, though, of course, on the front and sides. But Gabe, I mean, like I said, we talked it was going to be a little bit of a different look tonight. You guys are going to start from the back, try to help learn and teach and educate some of the guys to kind of the finer points of the next gens. And I mean, it went really well. And then, of course, I mean, at some point, though, the green flag pit stops, there's only so much you guys can do. But then, I mean, that pit stop, that final stop, you and Eric and Kevin, I mean, you guys nailed it. And from there, I mean, we were watching the lap times, and there was no response from the other guys. They didn't jump in right along with you. And unfortunately, the ticker was going the wrong way, so it was unfortunately a bit of a losing battle for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's typical of super speedway racing. This car isn't, but the pit stops don't change. You got to nail them. You got to come out together, and you end up gapping people. But like Kevin was saying, you know, this car is a learning curve. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's running a lot more than I have. Roger, who came in tonight, Roger's really good with this car, so he'd have suggestions and stuff like that. But it's just a learning curve. The car, it doesn't draft like the trucks or, you know, the Xfinity car. We keep saying it's a totally different animal, and you know, if anybody the little bit of knowledge I have about it, I'm more than glad to pass it on to anybody that wants to know.
No, I mean, that's what we love about this group is, I mean, like I said, I mean, there's no secrets from it. It's like the setups, the things you guys do. Like I said, you guys are like, hey, if anyone wants any help or any practice, let us know. We're here for you. So, but yeah, so I mean, it's been a good boot knocker weekend. I feel like for you guys, very very successful. Obviously, talking to Kevin on the 24 side. Were you part of the 24 team as well, or are you sticking with the ovals here?
No, I stuck with the ovals. I just watched it, and I mean, what a team effort on their part. I mean, they won their 24-hour race by 21 laps, which is extraordinary. And to top it off, they didn't have a scratch in the car. The only incidents they had were some off tracks here and there. So, I mean, the whole thing, I didn't watch it all, but I watched most of Brian's stream. So, I mean, just an extraordinary accomplishment. And that was their second year in a row, by the way. So they got 2 in a row.
I'll say if they need their streak ruined, I can tag onto their team because I think I can find the bad luck for them. But
yeah, I think that's why they kept me off it. So.
Yeah, they know better on those ones. But no, Gabe, I mean, like I said, you guys did a really good job. Like we mentioned, they kind of worked with the field, try to kind of, like I said, educate and help people improve. And like I said, I mean, we saw some names that were nice additions, like mentioned there, the Roger. He's obviously going to be one to watch if he can kind of get a group behind him. The 61 Ryan Decker looks like he's got a really good push as well in that 61 car. So there's some good talent there that just, like I said, I think need to be in the right place at the right time. Andy Brigante was doing so well until that caution when he had to hit pit road there, kind of put him a ways back. So I think there's a lot to come here. I think next week's going to be a very interesting one. I mean, how have you done the iRacing, or sorry, have you run these next gens at iRacing Superspeedway before?
Just one time, and you'll be surprised. They're kind of slow.
Yeah, it's not what I would have expected. I was going to say probably be these bad boys going to be like 230, 240s.
No, not even close. You're lucky to get to 205.
No, so it's going to be a whole different animal over there. That'll be fun to see then what we got in store for there.
Yeah, it will be different, but I've only run it once at iRacing Superspeedway, so, and that was to kind of semi-build a set for Area 51 here, so we'll see what happens.
So you're going to have to shake some rust off yourself for that one, but Gabe, as always, man, really, really great job tonight, able to be able to get the win here this evening. Definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that win this evening.
A huge shout out to the teammates and Kevin for the great pushing and his wealth of knowledge on this car, and the rest of the guys that were racing with tonight. I think it was only me, Eric, and Kevin actually. But shout out to them. Shout out to Area 51 for the league, and of course you guys for doing your wonderful broadcast.
So you guys make it easy for us with what you guys are able to do week in, week out. So great job. We'll let you go talk with your teammates, celebrate a little bit more. So you're probably getting a little tired of celebrating after all these wins you guys have been racking up over the weekend. So go hang out with them, and we'll chat soon, sir.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
You too, bud.
Thanks.
All right, Matt. That is our race winner in that number 88 of Gabe Butler getting the win here tonight at Talladega. Again, 75 laps, had 3 yellows this evening for the 9 laps under caution. But that green flag pit stop, that was really the breaking point in the race. Gabe and Kevin able to clear out there with Eric Laurie. And then from there, they just were able to set sail and kind of run away with it there at the end. But like I said, I think if we can get just a handful more cars here, I think just getting the extra car count will really shake up the running order in the field a little bit more. With these cars, because these feel like cars that need a bigger pack, a bigger group to really kind of show what they can do. But I'm really, really excited to see what these cars have been able to do. I think just got to find a way to get a few more drivers behind it. I know obviously this has been a really busy weekend too. The Daytona 24, obviously, some guys throwing a pigskin thing around on a football field or something like that probably took a few people away. So. I think it's going to pick back up here soon. I'm looking forward to the rest of this.
Yeah, it is. It's like you said. When we get more people in here, it's the racing is going to be much better, and we'll see what those boot knockers can do with much more cars on the track.
Yeah.
By the way, that is 4 wins in a row technically for Gabe.
Yeah, so Maxwell's saying so. Yeah, we might have to put a bounty on him. It looks like Gabe's willing to do $1 bounty for if they're
I'll
able
do
to
it.
dethrone him. So, so yeah, so if we want to match him, so that's $3 for someone who's able to dethrone Gabe Butler from the Area 51 Super Speedway Series Thursdays or Mondays. So save your piggy banks, because I mean that's some big money coming our way. But no,
Yeah.
I say he's made one of our broadcasters. Chris Matthews, I think he had to do 50 push-ups, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 60 in a row for
It was
Gabe's
50.
5 or 6 wins in a row in that 88 car. So, yeah, Gabe can go on these pretty hot streaks, and he's one to watch for those as well. So, I'll do everything I can to try to. I tried my best at Atlanta on Thursday, but I say he got the better of me there, and I'm not at all surprised. But I was just proud to be a part of it, honestly, to be able to be in contention with guys like Gabe and the company. So. But Matt, I'm glad your mic's back. Got to have you back in full swing here as well, because we've got plenty of racing to go the rest of the season. So really want to thank you for hopping on, getting that squared away. Everybody that watches and supports us, always very thankful. If you're interested in any super speedway racing, Area 51 iRacing.com. Race Thursday nights Super Speedway trucks, Sunday night Super Speedway NextGen series like we have tonight, and on Tuesday we have a unbroadcasted due to legal reasons, but we have some open wheel
I'd
cars
rather not
that
talk about
are
that.
redacted open wheel series cars, if you will. But a really good group of guys over there too. A lot of fun, a lot of drivers that over there racing. So had a blast at Michigan last week. So yeah, would love to see some people over there if you want to. So again, area51iracing.com. But that will be it for us. So Matt, thank you as always, man. Always a pleasure to do these with you. Again, congrats to our top 3: Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze, Jim Brooks. And we will be back on Thursday night. Maxwell Caldwell in the booth, calling that show at iRacing Super Speedway with the trucks. That will be a fun one to watch, so stay tuned for that. So until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night, and we'll see you all on Thursday.